Welcome to Whispers, everybody, on AM 1600 the Valley's Watchdog.
I'm supposed to be the one messing up tonight.
I know it's we've had a flabbergasted couple of 30 seconds there. We lost the music to the show. We got it on though. It's 8:09 p.m. It is degrees.
This
Lola.
says 46, but I don't think I'm buying it.
Well, I mean, it's colder in here, I think.
That's here on my computer. My computer says 43.
Okay, we'll go with 43. 43 here, downtown Wheeling. Give us a call, 301-214-1600. If you're out of the area, call us toll-free, 866-514-1600.
Yay.
Oh, man.
This has been a long couple of days. So
it has been quite a long week. We missed you, Lola.
Already?
Aw,
you guys.
All right, we're going to jump right in. We got a guest real quick. We got two guests we're bringing to everybody tonight. Our first guest is Stephen Bassett. He is the executive producer of the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee. He is the creator of the Paradigm Clock and the executive producer of the X Conference. He is currently organizing the Million Facts on Washington to urge the U.S. government to disclose their UFO files.
Did I write down producer?
Yes, you did.
My Lord. I'm sorry. I've been sick and I'm on drugs.
I see. Wow.
So it's director. I should have
Executive
written director.
director.
I was even looking at it. I was copying from paper.
Whoever you are, Stephen, just chirp right on in.
My bad. I'm sorry, Stephen.
As
long as you spell my name right, I don't care.
I told him to make sure before. He's like, make sure you spell the name right. And he's like, what does it matter? I was like, come on. So
it's a respect thing.
It is.
It's a respect thing. So, how you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing just fine.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do? What is the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee?
Yeah, what is all this stuff with a long name?
Yeah,
That's right.
The Paradigm Research Group was formed in 1996. Its goal was to advocate for the solution to the UFO ET question, a political solution, which is to say, to advocate for the government to acknowledge what had already been well proven by 1996, many times over, that there is an extraterrestrial presence engaging us. The government knows about it. The government embargoed that fact from us for national security reasons. That advocacy has now gone in its 12th year. In 1999, PRG opened its Political Action Committee, which is XPAC, Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee. And also PRG is registered as a lobbyist with the House and the Senate on this issue. We've run conferences, the S Conference. I've run for Congress on this issue. And done everything else possible to bring about this political solution. And I honestly didn't think it would take this long. I thought it would be done by the year 2000. But history is funny. Things happen, right? It's always something, as Emily Littell used to say. And now it's 12 years since I entered the field, but we're very close. I think we're just about the end of the truth embargo, and I think the government is very soon going to announce to us all those good people, that, yeah, there's ETs here, and don't worry about it.
No, I was looking for the Paradigm Clock. I actually remember when I called you the day, I did not realize after I got your bio today it said Paradigm Clock. I remember the Paradigm Clock back in. I remember seeing it I think 99.
Yeah, I launched that to the web late 97. It was one of the first things that I did. The Paradigm Clock was just another advocacy tool. In this case, it was public awareness. It was modeled after the Doomsday Clock, which was still around and still needs to be around, which was created in 1947 by the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists to publicize the fact that, if we're not careful, we might have a nuclear war, folks.
Yeah.
And midnight on the Doomsday Clock was nuclear war. And so if things in the world, events in the world would push us closer to potential nuclear war, then they would move the clock closer to midnight, and they'd publicize that, and they'd get a lot of press. And this way, I watched that happen all through my youth. I was born in 46. So I created the Paradigm Clock. And what's midnight on that clock? Midnight on the Paradigm Clock is disclosure. It's this event that we're referring to. It is, in fact, the government finally acknowledging what we've known for a very long time, that, yeah, there's extraterrestrials here. You're not alone. Don't panic. We got more to tell you soon. And here's some other things you need to know. And that Paradigm Clock has been set at just 15 seconds to midnight. Between 97 and 2005, it had changed a number of times, moving forward, moving back. But I set it at 15 seconds to midnight approximately 2 years ago because I knew that we were just there. We were right on the edge of disclosure.
Now, do you feel that we're getting closer? Like, do you think that they're slowly starting to release things? Do you feel that we're getting to that point right now?
It's not quite that. The pressure on the United States to end the truth embargo is mounted and is growing daily. The United States, though, has never had a policy release. It's really had to be forced to release documents through the FOIA, and has resisted efforts to really engage the issue because that's because the issue is informally embargoed. Other nations, on the other hand, are releasing information. Recently, a lot of information. The United Kingdom and France have been releasing major portions of their classified files, citing reports. All of this, of course, creates news cycles, particularly the UK, which releases their classified files on a time release basis. Every so many months, they release another batch, which creates another news cycle. This is not simply they're not just cleaning up house there. France is doing the same thing. What France and UK are doing are saying, look, we sort of agreed many years ago that you would lead on this issue, that you would decide when to tell the world's people. We've deferred to you that. We owed you because of the Cold War and because of World War II, but we're no longer willing to wait any longer. So if you don't disclose, we're going to.
Stephen,
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you think the Obama administration will be far more sympathetic toward this or far more open?
It's much more than that. I think the first time disclosure was probably scheduled to happen after it was really possible, which was the Cold War ended. Until the Cold War ended, it was not going to be a disclosure of the EP presence. I think most people could figure that out on their own.
Yeah.
Would have been the first year of George H.W. Bush's second term. The Cold War ended in the middle of his term. And so it wasn't just going to happen right then. But before they could in the meantime, we had a war develop in Kuwait. But then that was settled, and I think he was the ideal president from the insider's point of view to be the disclosure president because he had all the right credentials and all the right connections and all that. But he lost, and he lost to a man who the military intelligence community had no respect for at all.
Right.
And as a result, I think they immediately committed that, no, disclosure's not going to happen under Bill Clinton's term. And a lot happened during those 8 years, though, and they got very worried that it might happen, but it didn't. And then he was replaced by George W. Bush. Now, a lot of people may be surprised to hear this, but George W. Bush was not well thought of by the military intelligence community. They were very worried about him from the get-go.
As well as they should have been.
And there were a number of reasons for that, but he did have the connection back to the father, who was, in fact, a very substantial person and still very well respected, connected. They named the CIA headquarters after him, after all. But as you may have forgotten, but when after current Bush took president, his approval ratings plummeted almost immediately, primarily for the fact that he pulled us out of a lot of treaties and was just doing things that were upsetting a lot of people, and so his approval ratings were poor. So that didn't help. But nevertheless, I mean, those ratings can come up. Well, they did come up because of 9/11. 9/11 starts the whole war on terror.
Right.
No ball game. And more importantly, when he makes the decision to go into Iraq, one of the people that was opposed to that was his father.
Really?
Who went to some lengths to try to convince him, don't do that. Mostly by sending his surrogates out to write editorials and what have you. But he wouldn't listen to him. And so essentially, there was a significant breach between George and his father at that time. So essentially, that was the last, I think, a piece of the puzzle for the inside people. They were not going to, George Bush was not going to be the disclosure president. So now another 8 years goes by. It's now 17 years since the Cold War ended. Witnesses have been coming forward, witnesses testifying to extraordinary events and evidence, books being published, documentaries all over the place, internet sites by the tens of thousands, documents being dumped in various countries. The Vatican is talking about extraterrestrials. No problem. They're our brothers. So, I mean, the pressure is building. And then we have the new change of administration. And in a sense, all of the stars have aligned here. First of all, I believe the Democrats planned to disclose. This was the second opportunity in in 2005 because they expected to win that election under Albert Gore, who would have been perfectly fine with the military intelligence community's disclosure president. Yeah. He was well respected. His key issues while he was in the Senate, which he was an expert on, were nuclear proliferation and nuclear arms. And it was the anticipation of this that John Podesta, who had been involved in the ET issue while in the Bush administration, in the Clinton administration, because of the Rockefeller Initiative, went public with his desire to see all the records dumped out of released from the government. He did that in 2002, 2003 as part of the creation of the Coalition for Freedom of Information. So John Podesta basically came out of the closet on this issue, publicly, on camera. And if you just go to the internet and Google John Podesta UFO, boom, there it is. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton watched the Rockefeller Initiative take place and was connected to the issue through that and actually helped with that initiative to some degree. And if you want to check on that, Google Hillary Clinton UFO.
Now, do you think Barack then will be the guy, or do you think we missed out?
No, we haven't missed out at all. John, and Bill Richardson came publicly out on the issue in 2004 in a foreword to the Roswell Dig Diaries. So these are key players in the Democratic Party, major players in the Democratic Party that are connected to the issue. It's 2004, but they lose.
Well, we have only a couple more minutes. Can you let us know very briefly about the Million Facts on Washington? Okay. I've linked that up on our website. And
sure.
Okay, go ahead.
The upshot is simple.
All right.
All of these people that were connected to the issue, Barack Obama runs for president on change, on transparency, on open government, right? And all of these people have been brought directly into major positions. John Podesta is made the head of the transition team. Hillary Clinton is made Secretary of State. Bill Richardson was just appointed Secretary of Commerce. The Democrats have made the decision to disclose next year. They've got the right people in place. And my job as an advocate on the issue is to make sure they don't change their mind. And so that launched the Million Facts on Washington, October 1, home-based factsonwashington.org. And the goal is to get as many letters and faxes and emails as possible into the President-elect's office, the transition headquarters, between the election and the inauguration day, January 20. Now, thousands of letters and faxes are already pouring in. We've got examples of these letters up on factsonwashington.org at the website. You can go see them, read them. They're very impressive.
Do you have that link, Nick?
Yes, I do have that link.
Okay, we got that link to our website so that people can click on it and help you out.
But send a letter, send a fax. If you want the truth about this and you want it next spring, you want it early on in this administration, I think the window is open. But just in case somebody tries to close it, send them a message. Make it clear that you're ready for the truth. You can handle the truth. And that's what this Million Facts on Washington.org program is about. And, again, I'm very optimistic. I think we're just about to the end of the race here. And we're going to know about the ET presence sometime in the spring of next year, early next year.
Well, I'm going to give you a call, and I'd like to have you back on maybe in February or March. That way we can talk and see kind of the status of what's happening. All right?
I'd be happy to come back and we can all talk about it, for sure.
That'd be awesome. Stephen, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stephen Bassett from the Extraterrestrial Phenomenon Political Action Committee. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
We're going to take a break real quick on Whispers. We'll be right back with Scott Nicholson. Give us a call, 304-214-1600, out of the area, 866-514-1600.
Do you want to dive into the bizarre world of the paranormal? Do ghosts, UFOs, or the supernatural amaze you to the point of wanting to learn more? Then you need BVRN, the Black Vault Radio Network. With more than 750 hours of on-demand talk radio, syndicated from more than 35 shows, the Black Vault Radio Network is your one-stop shop for the world of the unexplained. Check us out and tune in 24 hours a day. www.blackvaultradio.com. Again, that's www.blackvaultradio.com.
Over recent years, the traditional office has become more of a touchpad than a daily destination. Long gone is the reliance on a landline to work away from the office. More people are performing work from home or other locations thanks to technologies like GoToMyPC that let you take your office wherever you go. With GoToMyPC, you have freedom from the office, enhanced work-life balance, and increased work flexibility. When choosing a remote access service, you need to make sure it's easy to set up, easy to use, and affordable. That's why you need GoToMyPC. And you can try it free for 30 days. For this special offer, go to mypc.com/techpodcasts. That's gotomypc.com/techpodcasts. Take your office with you wherever you go with GoToMyPC. Welcome back to Whispers, everybody. It is 8:25 p.m., 8:26 now. 43 degrees out down in downtown Wheeling. I am so tongue-tied today. Oh, man, please forgive me. I don't know what my problem is.
It's all that turkey. You're still living on the tryptophan.
I'm still in my turkey-induced coma.
Yes.
And I'm glad I didn't get abducted, as we discussed before in my weaker state.
Yes, I was very careful. My oven didn't work correctly, so it took me 6 hours to cook a 12-pound turkey.
Wow. Jeez. Give us a call here, 304-214-1600, toll free 866-514-1600. Our guest with us now is Scott Nicholson. He is a horror author, a novelist from North Carolina. His latest book is They Hunger, which Publisher Weekly describes as a vampiric deliverance. It moves quickly and assuredly, offering some fine scares along the way. Scott has published several novels, stories, short stories, poetry, nonfiction magazine articles, and has written 5 screenplays. As a newspaper reporter, he's won 3 of North Carolina's Press Association Awards, and he is
You are having a hard time.
He's had the usual collection of odd jobs: a dishwasher, carpenter, painter, musician, baseball card dealer, and a radio announcer.
Yes,
maybe you can
that
give me
is
some
the
tips
oddest right there.
Maybe you can give me some tips on how to fix my brain right
Unfix
now.
his tongue.
Scott, you with us?
Hey, yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Can you help
great.
us?
Help me.
Y'all got snow on the ground up there?
No, we don't. We did last week. It was actually last Tuesday we had our show, and we barely made it to the station because it was horrible.
Roads were closing down. It was rain or ice everywhere.
Yeah.
First road we went on, we had 2 people wrecked on the side of the road that we had to stop and help, and then we turned around the next way and tried to go that way. So it was bad. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit on the ground now. Good excuse to stay home, but
Stay
in
home.
radio you got to be there.
Yeah. Oh, at least, if you're staying home, you can read a good book. Hopefully we'll have some snow. People can buy your book and curl up beside the fire, and
Among other things.
among other things.
So tell us about your newest book, Scott.
Well, the latest one out is They Hunger. It is a kind of a gorge story. It's set in all my works, all my novels are set in the southern Appalachian Mountains, and a lot of mountain folklore I use in my books. In fact, I have a short story of a great book called Legends of the Mountain State, based on West Virginia legends, put together by Michael Nost, and it's got some good folklore based on real West Virginia folklore. Just turn them into fictional stories, and that's kind of what I do. I take local haunted legends for the most part and turn them into stories. They Hunger, I was camping in the Linville Gorge, which is a national park, about 13 miles of white water, kind of treacherous kayaking, and I wasn't really kayaking, I was just camping, but I imagined these creatures. There's real high cliffs where the water's cut through this mountain valley, and just imagine these creatures coming down. It started out with a sound effect like squeak, and then you don't know what it is, like an overgrown mosquito or something. They come down. I wanted to have them like my editors kind of wanted a vampire book, and I knew they were going to put two fangs on it, but I wanted to create a new creature. It was like a can opener. It just had one big fang right in the middle and would open you up like a can of V8, but it didn't really work out that way.
Maybe a straw.
So they aren't really vampires. They're more like hillbilly chupacabra.
That's an image that'll be hard to get out of my mind.
I know it. I know it.
But I also do some paranormal stuff. I've recently got into that. So
Well, you just had a paranormal conference. I have that written down here. Green Park Paranormal Conference. I was watching your video before we went on the air. You guys find anything there? That was November 20 through the 23rd, something like that?
yeah, weekend before Thanksgiving. It's because I mine the local haunted places and local folklore. Every haunted church or house I can find, I turn it into a story. But this one I kind of had my eye on. Went on my first ever ghost hunt last November as a reporter. I was just kind of covering it, so I was just along for the ride. Just, of course, naturally being demented and into all this weird stuff. Like I can't miss it. And then the first thing I thought was like, these ghost hunters are crazy. This is wonderful. I got to get into this. So it's almost like I was as fascinated with the psychology of the hunters as I was with any phenomenon that might be there. And after the inn was pretty empty then, and at that time I was thinking, a few weeks later, I was thinking, what if you filled up a whole hotel with ghost hunters? And it ended up, we didn't quite fill it up, but we had over 100 people there and doing ghost hunting, a bunch of panels. And it was the first effort, but it was a really neat community, mostly because I didn't present myself as a paranormal expert. I'm more of a curious, I'm researching it now and learning more about it, but at the time it's just like I almost wanted to do it as a social experiment and like what kind of people we want to draw. And really fascinating that a lot of people, this was their first ever paranormal conference or anything of this kind. It seems like there were a lot of closet ghost hunters who had watched a few shows, and it's kind of like this is the first time they'd ever dared to admit it,
You got people to come out of their paranormal closet?
Yeah. And I actually had what may have been an experience and because I went in like not wanting to believe, because it's like, then I'd be walking around a haunted hotel all weekend. And I've been in there before on my own. It's kind of like, you start hearing stuff. And I go to haunted places, but always go as in the daytime and like with this real kind of academic, almost snotty attitude of like, oh, there's nothing here, just because I don't want to see it, because then I'd have to be scared. But about 2 a.m. we had the hunts organized to break them into groups, and so we had to cycle it through so everybody got into the most haunted rooms. And about 2 a.m. there's about 12 of the hardcore people left. And we're all in this control room. We had like 16 monitors set up, and we had cameras through every part of the hotel so that we could film even when we weren't actually hunting. And then I thinking about money, like, how am I going to pay for this? And then I felt what felt like the pressure of a hand on my hip just above my wallet. Not like someone's trying to pick my wallet, but almost like something thinking, okay, yeah, you're thinking about money, so I'm just going to
mess with you.
And I turned around, and it's like, I'm very aware of my personal space, and I turned around to see who it was.
And it was your ex-wife.
Yeah, well, no, she got it. She didn't have to take the back through. That's another horror story unto itself. But no, actually, and I'm still to this day not sure what, I was kind of embarrassed. It's like, I don't want to believe that happened, and I'm kind of sad about it because I had some friends there with like thermal imaging equipment and thermometers and things. We could have seen if there was any actual physical change that might have made it something besides something in my head. But even now, I'm willing to believe that, I could create that with my mind with even if I did imagine that touch, my mind may have enough power to actually change the temperature of my skin to create that whole set of whatever physical. So basically, I'm unconvinced at this point, but it was real enough that I admit it was something, whether it was in my head or somewhere else.
You should come up to the prison with us. We have a local state penitentiary that's supposedly really haunted. We've been in there several times.
What are you getting?
voices,
We've got
all kinds of stuff.
EVPs, and
People have
some
seen apparitions there.
Some people have been scratched, that kind of stuff.
The Shadow Man.
Oh, these are mean ones, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's evil.
This was a very bad prison.
It was one of the most violent prisons, wasn't it?
How many people
Yeah.
died? 900
Almost 1,000.
Almost 1,000
Wow.
people
Either
killed.
executed or just
Murdered.
killed. Yeah.
You guys have a lot of haunted tunnels up there, don't you? I was up in Charleston for a book fair, and I remember reading Halloween stories about the haunted tunnels, train tunnels and things.
We have one here, Tunnel Green. That might be one of the ones you've heard of, where there was supposedly a murder of an immigrant that took place, and when the train came through, the ghost appeared to all the people on the train, showing what happened to him, and they actually supposedly reported, they saw this, and they arrested the guys that killed him for his money. So, interesting stories. I've heard that one. I can't think of any other ones off the top
Well,
of my
we've
head.
heard now that the Capitol Music Hall is, where Jamboree USA was for many years until Live Nation closed it down, and that's another horror story too. But I just found out about that a couple weeks ago. We had a caller that used to work there when she was like 13 to 18, worked concessions and then cleaned after. People see apparitions and things there all the time.
The stagehand, was it?
Yeah, well, that grabbed her ankle as she was climbing up backstage to go up on the roof to watch fireworks. Something grabbed her ankle. She looked down. Of course, there's nothing there. And later on, she said something to the older people working there. They said, "Oh, that's a stagehand. He does that all the time." And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. But that's another place that I would love to get in and like spend the night, because it's probably loaded with good energy.
If you're looking for crazy people, you came to the right place.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. In fact, we'd probably be good for a few short stories if you really wanted to sit down and talk. But
Haunted radio station.
Yeah, well.
It is haunted.
Lola believes that there's somebody that stands and watches
Now,
her.
a ghost whisperer told me this, that there is a ghost here that is kind of in like with me and got mad because
So we're waiting for something to happen.
Yeah,
So it could
but it
happen
never
tonight.
does. It never happens.
So, Scott, how many books have you written?
Well, my 8th and 9th are coming out shortly. It's hard to tell with publishing and the state of the economy and who can pay their printing bills. My 8th book is a story collection called Scattered Ashes, which is up for pre-order at darkregions.com. It's basically the best of my short stories from the last 7 years.
Oh, wow.
In a variety of genres. There's about 20 stories in it. Mostly ghost stories are my most common fare. Some few dark fantasy and that kind of thing. And then a novel
Listen to how you get real quiet when you start saying that.
Yeah. What, ghost stories? Or?
No, dark fantasies.
Yeah, it's kind of, fantasy's a loaded word. But we won't go there. This show does come with a warning, so.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
As long as you don't say George Carlin's 7 dirty words, I think we'll be
Yes,
okay.
we're good.
I have a button I can push if need be. So.
He's got his hand above the button now.
Well, if you've worked in radio, you know all about George Carlin's 7 words.
Yeah.
And I'm the producer, so if somebody really ticks me off by saying one of those, I don't take it nicely.
And she'll say one, too. After we get off the air.
Yeah.
Then Jordan and I have to pay a lot of money.
Yeah, and plus you can be colorful without using those words.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. In fact, it's more fun to try and come up with other things.
Oh, horseradish.
What? Oh, please don't get Jordan started on those words. I've often wondered this about people that write horror stories. What is your thinking process? Are you always in kind of a strange place in your head, or is this something that you have to sit down and consciously think out and then pad the idea with, description?
I don't know. I feel like for me it's totally subconscious. I don't hardly ever drive around thinking about whatever I'm working on. It's more like I turn on the computer, sit at it, and get lost in the world. And it's almost like automatic writing or ghosts, somebody whispering in my ear these stories. And I don't outline or anything. It's kind of like sometimes I'm surprised at what's happening. and let it take a life of its own. So it seems like when the stuff that's most successful is when I'm out of the way and it's just like flowing through from a secret land. But I want the check made out to me.
Absolutely. I just kind of went, because I like to write too, and and I just wondered if everybody just kind of lets it flow. That's what you kind of hear. And then other people are very structured, and they have all of their characters outlined and the outline of the story, and they just kind of build upon that.
Yeah, I believe whatever works for you, and you kind of have to find the way that works for you, because everybody is different. Anybody that tells you this is the way you do it, and it's like, no, this is the way you do it for you.
Yeah.
Your personal truth is not a universal truth. So if you are a writer, I encourage you to just tackle whichever way works and don't second guess it. Plenty of people out there will tell you you're wrong. Don't worry about that. You have to believe in yourself.
I know my first rejection notice just devastated me. But
now, what?
They get a few hundred and they don't scar you anymore. It's sort of like high school dating.
Oh, thanks.
Lola's gotten flashbacks now.
Another horror story written just now.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Now, Scott, the backgrounds of your stories, there's a reason you write the way you do and why you do it. Can you share some of that with us?
I believe people ask me, why did you start writing what they call horror? It doesn't feel like horror to me, because I'm rarely scared when I'm writing it. I'm just mostly freaked out by what these weird people are doing, and am I really that strange? But I'm over it now. But just, I think I grew up with my grandmother telling these folkloric ghost stories, and just sitting on the front porch as the sun's going down and starts getting dark, and you get the stars coming out, and a little bit of fog or whatever, and just the atmosphere of that kind of sticks with me, and I kind of feel like I'm writing modern folk tales, kind of structuring them in a more commercial storyline, but still there's that magical element, just the sitting around the campfire kind of storytelling, which really appeals to me.
Where are you physically?
I'm in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, a little town called Boone. Appalachian State University's here.
Oh.
We got a lot of football.
Yes,
lately. Always win the championships, and
I
used to beat Marshall. Marshall used to be our big rival.
Yeah, and then you beat Michigan.
I was going to say they beat Michigan.
Yeah, so. that really scarred me for quite a while. But
congratulations! I'm glad you won.
Yeah, we have an interesting makeup. We have the university town, but we have cows, and the mountains. It's a good, real beautiful area. It used to be a place where it was easy to be poor, and all the writers and artists used to retreat up here, and then it kind of some second homeowners invaded it, and it's a changing area, but it's kind of nice. Got good energy.
Yeah, I used to live in North Carolina, but I lived in the beach, Emerald Isle, Morehead City, that area.
Oh, yeah.
So drove through Blue Ridge Mountains, which is beautiful. Fancy Gap. That's always the name I remember, Fancy Gap.
Yeah.
So Mount Airy, Mount Pilot.
Yeah, we have a number of Possum Hollows, as you can imagine.
Oh, I love that area of the country. I really do.
Now, would you say the environment that you're in would touch your stories there? You said with the hunger that you were out camping and hiking, and you were like, hey, what if monsters were coming out of the walls?
Definitely. There's sort of a sub-theme in my books, because I base all of them kind of in a fictional version of this area. And one of those sub-themes is the change, the between old and new. You have the old ways, the old mountain ways, the Scottish folklore, and those magical, those folk beliefs of witches and ghosts, and the horseshoe and the four-leaf clover used to allow you to see a ghost. And then it became a good luck charm, kind of how things get watered down over time, and then the change of second homeowners coming in and changing the way of people's lives. And some of my novels are more literal than others, like The Harvest is about an alien infection that hits the mountains, and it's almost a zombie story, but it's just that metaphor of the outsider coming in. You know, in my books, the hillbillies are the heroes. They're the ones getting invaded. It's like Deliverance in reverse.
How would I know Deliverance would have to get brought up somewhere in this conversation? Jeez.
Can you mute him, please?
Yes, I know. I'm glad I've got all the buttons over here. But
I'm looking at the harpist seems like something I would actually enjoy.
Nick is a huge Alien fan.
Aliens crashing down into the Appalachian Mountains. Who would have thought it?
All right, Scott, as a horror novelist, what scares you?
Really, threats to children. I mean, the Room 1408, the Stephen King movie, is like these movies rarely scare me because I'm always thinking as a creator and thinking, well, what would I do if that story, and how would I, what's going to happen next, and trying to outthink the writer and the storytellers. But that one is something about the child just is really, as a parent, that's about the most emotionally wrenching thing you can think of, that helplessness and loss that really is the most terrible thing I can imagine.
so, in other words, do you enjoy reading other people? Like, say you pick up a Stephen King. Does it, or are you always just kind of looking at it with that second eye of, well, I think I would do this a little different, or, that kind of thing?
When it's really good, I just get lost in it, just like whether I'm writing or not that my writing's really good, but just getting lost in a story, whether I'm the one telling it or I'm reading someone else's, and just get transported. That's really the experience I think we're all seeking when we go to entertainment and escape. We want to be swept away. You go into the movie, you want to, when I forget that I'm watching a movie, that's when I go, yeah.
This is a good movie, yep. But if it's a bad book, I know it's like torture to keep reading it. But I never put a book down without finishing it. I just have this thing. And
oh, I do.
I'm so merciless with
I used
books.
to do that, and then I hit 40, and it's like, life's too short.
to waste on
There's
bad
always
literature,
another good
I know.
book out there.
Yeah.
All right, here's another question I got for you. When you write, do you write yourself into your stories? Because I noticed, like, in The Hunger, the main character, I think he's hilarious. Just his attitude and everything. Because you sent me that book. I loved it.
Are you done with it? Can I borrow it?
He came and read like the first chapter to me.
Yeah, I as soon as I got it, I went to Nick's house and read him out loud, and I was like, "Listen to this guy, it's awesome."
I was like, I'll read it myself. I don't want to go to bed.
So, do you write? Is that you? Like, would you write yourself into the book, or?
I believe all those characters are some extension. At some level, you have to get into the heads of these people and kind of own them, and that's one of the fun things of it, is a multiple personality disorder that is kind of healthy, I guess. It doesn't hurt anybody. But some characters are more autobiographical than others. A lot of especially my 13, 14-year-old characters, I use a lot, or kind of the way I was at that age, and dealing with those issues of especially religious faith. And when you get to that point where grown-ups have told you something all your life, but then you realize, gee, they're just grown-ups telling me stuff. I've got to, who believes them? Who can trust them? I got to figure this out on my own. And that's when, what's sad is, I don't know, it's kind of a commentary on my life, I guess, but the evil, dirty-minded, kind of sinister characters are the most fun to write. Maybe they're the closest to me, or maybe that's how I've lived myself. People who write serial killers in fiction will never kill anybody.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Well, let's hope not.
What I've enjoyed most about your website, because I've been going through it, are the pictures you take. So far, I've seen this farmer picture.
I know it. They're hilarious.
And the vampire one where you're in the casket.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like you have a lot of fun with this stuff.
Yeah, I used to do a David Bowie thing where at hauntedcomputer.com I'd put up every book. I'd have a different character. And funny about that creepy hillbilly dude, somebody emailed me and said, "Man, where'd you ever find that old creepy hillbilly?" Well, that's very much the way I am. I'm a gardener and I keep goats and I just live out in the country. Yeah.
So you fear the chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra. I can't say that right. So you fear the chupacabra, the goat sucker.
Yeah. I watch out for protecting my goats. I think I am a goat who just can't fence me in.
I had a goat that actually ate, the paper license plates you get on the car.
Yeah.
Well, I drove over to my wife's house and she had a goat, and I park out. This is when we were dating. Park outside, and next thing you know, I hear someone scream, "Nick!" And I run out. The goat ate the plate off of my car. It was licking the salt off of my car because it was during the winter. So I had these lick marks all over my car. The plate's gone.
You're lucky it didn't eat your car.
I think he was going to start trying. We had to rush it away.
Yeah.
Goats are keep eating.
Put a metal tag on there and you got you an instant car wash. They might lick they'll climb up on your car too, like to look around.
This should be your next book. Some goats start going crazy.
Like Planet
Yeah,
of
I've
the
got that
Apes,
in
but-
my book, The Farm. I've got
The Farm?
meat-eating goats.
Eating goats. Oh God.
Jeez, get with it, Nick.
I'm looking at the farm right now, and now I got to find this.
Now, did I hear the boys say that you have written screenplays too?
Yeah, I've got 6 now. 4 of them adapted from my book, and I just now started looking for an agent, so they haven't really been out. One of my books is getting optioned for movie development. I don't know if I'll write that script or not, but it's just another form of storytelling. And you talked about being in my books. I'm actually a narrator I'm actually in my own comic book series.
Nice.
We're developing that. It's called Dirt. And it's basically adapted short stories into a graphic novel or graphic short stories and fill up the comic books. And I'm working with some Brazilian artists. It's hilarious because their English isn't too good, and I have to, I was trying to explain there's a redneck character, and it said, "What's a redneck?" So I sent him a picture of a hunter in a baseball cap with beer in the back of the pickup. He had a deer with a big rack, rack of antlers, and the guy wrote back and says, "So which one's the redneck? Is that the animal?" So it's like,
yeah.
Not everybody knows about this. Taught me a lot about English, actually.
You have to bring him up and do a fact-finding mission in the mountains. Write that into a story.
Yeah, I figured they were universal, but I guess maybe they call them different things in different places.
I'm sure.
I'm a redneck, so I can say that. I'm a hillbilly, so I don't know
There
if
we go.
that's above or below rednecks in the pantheon.
My uncle says he's a Hill William.
Yeah, he's not a hillbilly, a Hill William.
A little more sophisticated.
A little more sophisticated.
He's bona fide.
We
Puts
actually
ice
wear
in his
shoes.
moonshine or something.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I can't think of anything else now. And I had a list of questions that I was going to bombard you with, but you're so funny. I wasn't
But
expecting
you know it all. Uh-huh.
Yes, yes.
Well, I just
She
invite
is a
people-
woman.
If you are a what?
A woman.
She's a woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Elsie.
They know it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm also going to invite people to come by my website, hauntedcomputer.com. I also have a lot of writing articles, and it's kind of a bittersweet advice at times. It's kind of like everything I thought I knew was wrong. But it's so much fun. I think everybody should try writing.
Now, you also have one of your stories. You've read the story and put it out as a podcast. I noticed that earlier.
Yeah, I've done
Must
several
Need to Appreciate.
podcasts. I think it's I just signed a deal with a company in the United Kingdom to do a lot of audio, and they're going to try and put them on BBC and that kind of thing. But it's kind of interesting to hear my Appalachian stories read by British announcers.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
But I'm starting to get a little international. I just got books coming out in the United Kingdom and Spain. I'm working on one in Italy, so getting around a little bit.
Wow.
Slowly but surely,
Well,
contaminating the world.
You've got to get into
Yeah.
Brazil and teach them what a redneck is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're lacking in this knowledge.
they're missing out on a global,
Phenomenon, yes.
Yeah, your writing is excellent. I've only read the one, but I love it, and I'm sure you're going to really succeed in the writing. What do I say?
In
The
selling
business.
lots of books.
What are you trying to
You're
say?
going to be
He's going to
a
the-
big dollar man.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, the thing about writing is you never have to retire, and it pays so little that you never can. As long as you got your brains and your fingers, and even your fingers are optional.
Yeah.
That's voice rec. But so I'm just planning on sticking with it, and just it's how I can stay sane, to be honest.
Where can we get your books?
Well, Amazon has most of them. A lot of them are out of print, but you can find them around eBay, all those kind of places. Just they're not hard to find if you got the wheel. I sell some directly to my site. If anybody wants to find ones, they can come to hauntedcomputer.com and scrounge around.
I've linked them all up on our website. I've even got the
Good.
pictures
Great,
of them.
thanks.
So, if you're interested in finding one of Scott's books, we got them all. We will promote you. We like
Yes.
what you do and who you are. So we're definitely going to start promoting you.
Come on up sometime. You take
Yeah,
a look
I've
at
been
our
up that way.
ghosties.
Where's Wheeling in relation to Charleston?
It's still north.
Keep going north. Yes.
You know where that
I didn't
little
think there was any north.
Yes.
Past Charleston, yeah.
that little spit of West Virginia that comes up between Ohio and Pennsylvania? We're in there. We're 45 miles west of Pittsburgh. It's really easy to find. We're right on I-70.
Cool.
We're kind of between Columbus and Pittsburgh.
We're in the northern panhandle.
Panhandle,
I almost
yeah.
went with a little twang there.
No, it's Panhandle.
Panhandle.
All right,
So,
Scott, thank you very much. We're definitely going to keep in contact with you.
Yes,
And,
this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm glad I discovered your show. Sounds like y'all cover the kind of stuff I need to be hearing.
Oh, well, geez, check out our website where we have books from the latest author, Scott Nicholson.
Yeah.
You can check him out
I
if
think
you
you'd like him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys got something in common.
he has goats.
Yeah, it's all about the guys.
They
gotta
eat
be
people.
fed.
All right, so have a
Can't
good one,
sell the
Scott.
goods,
Thank
They'll
you.
eat them. They'll eat them.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yes,
and we'll,
thanks.
like I said, definitely we'll be keeping in contact with you.
Yeah, thanks for a fun evening, guys. Talk
Hey,
to you soon.
Have a good
Okay,
one.
bye-bye.
I like him.
Oh, is he funny?
That's fun.
I got on his website today.
Yeah?
I saw
I
that
thought you were
going to
go somewhere else.
I thought you were
was
like,
waiting
hey.
for
Ha ha ha.
I was waiting for a
told you.
story.
Oh, that's it? You just got...
No, I just got on
You
his
learned how to
web.
use Firefox. Yay.
I'm going to pound you.
Well,
Yeah, he really was
I am in
funny.
an antagonistic mood. So.
I guess so, after you choked it half to death. Are you okay? Is that the sickness?
The choke? What?
When you...
you're hacking and coughing.
Yeah.
My hacking and coughing. I have not slept really that much since Friday. I've been doing finals at school and everything. And plus I'm sick. So it's just kind of keeps perpetuating.
I told him out here, I said, please don't do that on the air. He's like, but I'm dying.
Because he's making fun of my cough, and I'm like, I don't cough normally like this. This is my death roast.
Oh, nice.
I told him at Walmart earlier. I said I'm probably going to cough, and I'll throw myself backwards, hit the wall.
So
You'll
the
have
big
to call-
alien's going to pop out of him and start
Yeah.
dancing.
It'd be alien in here.
It happens.
Yeah, too often.
All right, Nikki, who do we got next week?
We have Dr. Lynn Kitty. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right.
Yeah, it's Lynn Kitty. She is, I don't know if you've heard, in Arizona there was something called the Phoenix Lights. And that was a huge UFO that was sighted that just flew right across the state. It was
Huge
seen by
amounts of UFOs.
it was like 10,000 people witnessed this.
Yeah, it was just, not too long ago.
Yeah, it was recent.
Yeah.
Well, this is the doctor that wrote the book, about the Phoenix Lights. She videotaped them, took pictures of them,
Photographed. Yeah.
photographed them.
I was just starting to ignore that.
Come on now. So, she's going to be on. She's going to share, her story, what she saw, how she dealt with. Because everybody saw this, thousands and thousands.
What kind of doctor is she?
Medical.
Okay, so she, that to me is a valid.
It's a valid doctorate.
Well, yeah. Well, you get these other ones
I have to
that
ask-
have a doctor, but they're
Well,
not.
what is not a valid doctorate? Let's begin.
Okay,
Doctor of English, doctor of philosophy.
I have a couple of doctors that I'd like to talk to you.
I'm serious. If you get
I
a
know,
doctorate
I'm
and all
sorry,
kinds of
I'm
stuff.
sorry.
But an MD, a medical doctor, or a
I am
doctor of
actually kinda-
osteopathy
Here we
is
go.
something that's a doctor. These other ones that throw doctor in front of their name, I think they're just being pretentious.
It says here she's an internationally acclaimed physician and health educator who recently pushed aside her successful medical career to pursue the Phoenix Lights book and award-winning documentary project, which we're going to be going home and watching in the next couple of days. Gordon and I are going to pop some popcorn.
I've seen it already. I watched it with my mama.
Did ya?
What?
Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? I didn't ask before the show started.
Yes, very good.
Yes, I had
I
3
love
dinners.
my family.
As you can see, look at me.
He was like a stick last week, and look,
I sprouted.
he said, "There ain't no alien taking me."
See, and I foiled them by making dinner. They didn't want to wait that long
You gotta have
for me to get done.
You're a skinny bird. You gotta have a high center of gravity. It'll keep you from being abducted.
Okay. Well, gentlemen,
And that's all we got for this week.
for tonight.
All right, tune in next week. We got Dr. Lynn Kitty. Till next week, remember, don't be afraid, only believe.